dun sa 4 na fake news na aking inilahad ngayong umaga, yung dalawa po ay hindi ko na puwedeng pasalamatan ng, Vera Files kasi kami po na-take down na namin nang hindi sila nakatulong. Ah, pero kailangan pong malaman po ninyong lahat na bago po namin nagawa yun, ini-email po namin kasi yung Vera Files at saka yung Rappler. Pero yung Rappler binibigay rin sa Vera Files. Pero napakabagal po talaga yung action. Kaya dun sa unang dalawang sinabi kong fake news, kami na po talaga nakipag-coordinate at successfully nagawa namin. Ito pong pangatlo, partially, ay pasasalamatan natin ang Vera Files kasi po kahit papano, ang ginawa po nila, dinemote po nila. Pero hindi entirely po, nakatulong 'yun kasi 'pag dinemote po 'yun, ang ibig sabihin nun, meron pa rin pong makakakita ngunit kokonti na lang. So hindi talaga buong-buo na aalisin nila. 'Yun po yung tinatanong ko sa inyo, madam, ba't kinakailangang i-demote ninyo? Alam ninyong completely fake po ito, eh. Talaga pong hindi kayo ang nagte-take down, alam namin 'yon. Ngunit kapag kayo nakipag-coordinate sa Meta sa Singapore, sila pong magte-take down kagaya po ng ginawa namin sa unang instances.
Wala ho tayong mahabang pag-uusapan ngayon mga reaction update page. Magre-react lang ho tayo dito kay Senator Marcoleta kasi nga ho, panoorin ho natin kung paano niya gisahin. Eto nga, alam niyo na ho, yung mga mahilig magpakalat ng mga fake news, pilit lamang ho kasing dinedemote, hindi ho dinidelete. Alam niyo ho mga ka-update dito, imi-mention ho ni Senator Kong Dante Marcoleta kung sino-sino yung mga pages na mga nagpapakalat ng fake news laban ho sa kanila. Isa na ho rito mga ka-update, ang Rappler. Wala ho talaga sinasanto itong si Senator Marcoleta mga ka-update ha. Wala hong pinipili. Kaya mga ka-update, pakinggan na ho natin. At sabay-sabay ho tayong mag-react, magkomento sa mga magiging pahayag nga nitong si Kong Dante Marcoleta talaga naman ho mga ka-update, sumabog ho siya dyan. Kaya mga update, kung bago lang ho kayo sa ating channel, isang like, isang share, isang subscribe lamang ho. Malaking tulong na ho yan. Reacta na ho tayo. Panoorin na ho natin itong mga fake news kung saan mahilig kayo ha. Kaya ngayon, mabubutata kayo dyan kay Senator Marcoleta. Kaya mga update, reacta na ho tayo.
Yun po yung aming gustong sabihin sa inyo. Bakit kami nagawa namin? Samantalang kayo ang may direkta pong may communication. Bakit kailangan po natin pagtalunan pa ito?
Siguro si Gemma.
Miss Gemma Mendoza?
I-clarify lang po natin. We don't communicate with, it would be impossible for us to communicate with Meta for every piece of thing that we rate. So we don't do that. Ang ginagawa lang po namin, ang interaction namin is through the platform they have, which is the platform that is made available to fact checkers. Yung action po nung na yon, yung action ng pag-demote, that is done by Meta when a rating is when a rating has been submitted. And that is that is their algorithm already that works on it. Now, yung question po about so like halimbawa po yung kanina nabanggit na yung isang content was manipulated. Definitely po if that was submitted to us, then we would have looked at it. So isa po yun sa mga tinitingnan namin talaga. Ngayon, hindi po talaga lahat nagagawa kasi kaunti lang po talaga kami at hindi naman po yun lahat matitingnan ng mga fact check.
Mr. Chair, ako po naniniwalang hindi po nyo kaya lahat tingnan. Pero yung mga bagay na nire-repair po namin sa inyo through email, dapat tingnan naman po ninyo. Hindi namin gagawin yon ng ganun-ganun lang. Kaya namin kinakasangkapan kayo at gusto namin tulungan nyo kami dahil mali nga po itong ginagawa nila. So, we are not asking you to look at every fake news in the entire universe. Ang sinasabi namin, pag kami nakipag-communicate sa inyo through email, pansinin nyo naman kami. Pero itong nauna ang ginawa namin, ang tagal-tagal. Kaya nga po kami na po ang gumawa ng paraan. Ayoko na pong ulit-ulitin ito. Itong pangatlo, kaya sabi ko po sa inyo ma'am, partially, nagpapasalamat kami dahil dinemote ninyo kahit papano. Pero ang gusto namin talaga, mawala na. Tama po, yun po yung gusto namin. Wala nang pong debate ron.
I-explain ko lang.
Nakikipagdebate ka pa sa akin, ma'am. Pinapasalamatan na nga kita kahit partially.
Hindi ako
O kaya nga, pakinggan
Ma'am
mo muna
Ellen.
ako. Makinig ka muna.
SB, opo.
Pero i-explain ko sa iyo
Hindi pa nga ako tapos eh.
Sandali lang po,
Mr.
Senator, sandali lang po. May
Sige.
sinasabi po si SP.
Sige, baka konektado naman kasi sa sinasabi ni Senator Marcoleta to. So if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman, at Senator Dante does not mind, yun yung negative side na pinag-uusapan natin sa mga fact-checking ninyo. Dapat pina-fact check nyo rin naman yung positive. Hindi po ba? Like for example, may isang senador nagyayabang 300 daw ang pinasa niyang batas. Hindi naman totoo. Hindi nyo sina-fact check yun? Yung mga ganon. I'm just giving an example. Di ba dapat i-fact check nyo rin yung hindi totoo? Yung bola. Di ba? Hindi pwedeng yung puro negative lang ang chinecheck. Check nyo rin yung bola. For example, ito si ganito raw, naku, nanalo siya ng award, ganito, gold medal sa ganito. Hindi naman. Di ba? Dapat meron ding fact-checking yun. Anyway, nabanggit ko yun. Yun yung negative side. Yun yung positive naman. Na mali. Na fake news pero nasa positive. May binibuild up na tao o binibuild up na sarili niya. Di ba? Anong pinakasagot na nakikita ko po dito? At ito'y talagang dapat once and for all, diinan na. Para tingin ko madaling masolve na yung fake news nila. One account, one person. Yun ang solusyon eh. One account, one person dapat. So sino ang dapat dito? Facebook, Meta, Instagram, TikTok, lahat dapat. Pag hindi nakaregister, isang tao lang dapat nakaregister. Account mo lang yun. Ikaw yun. Tingnan mo, pagka yung mga gumalabas ng mga fake news na yan, kung isang account lang sila at tunay silang tao, at hindi meron silang another account na ganito, itong mga account din ng paninira. Pag hindi ganoon, hindi magiging ganun katapang manira ng kapwa eh. Pagka one account, one person, kilala siya, nag-register siya. So saan magkakatalo to? Hindi sa atin eh. Magkakatulo to. Kailangan sama-sama tayo i-appeal natin ito doon sa kanila, sa mga service providers. Na wag nilang i-register. Ang daling mag-register. Gusto nyo ako magre-register kaagad ako dito eh. One de la pot-pot ang pangalan ko, tatangkapin eh. Di ba? Yun ang pinaka-problema eh. So I think ko doon tayo magsama-sama lahat ng mga involved sa internet. Di na natin yun. One account, one person. Dapat ganun. Thank you.
Tama po, SP. Pati yung mga account na comment tapos naka-lock profile. Hindi rin tama yun. Salita ka ng salita tapos hindi ka naman pwedeng sagutin. Yun mga bagay po na yan ang mga dapat natin pong ihakbang dito. Senator Marcoleta. Opo.
Mr. Chair, tama po ba ito na 16 million po ang naka-earmark sa PCO under its 2026 budget to combat fake news?
Yusek Ilagan. Opo. Alam nyo, 60 million daw po. Alam nyo, kaibigan ko kasi si Mon. Sige po.
Sorry, sir. I'm just checking lang the data, Senator. We're just fact checking the data, but there's no specific
Kasi
about the
po,
fake news.
kaya po tinatanong ito dahil kung kundi po nyo mate-take down ng mga fake news na nire-report namin, nandito po ang ating Senate President. Baka tanggalin po niya yan. Ilagay na lang po natin sa makakatanggal po ng mga fake news sa madaling panahon. Hindi po yung nagtatagal.
Habang nag-aantay po
We're
po
just
tayo
checking po, Senator.
ng sagot po ninyo. Baka po merong gustong idagdag yung mga fact checkers po natin sa punto po kanina tungkol sa political alliance. So wala pong political alliance sa inyo.
Wala po. And we regularly disclose the list of fact checks that that we do every year. So the other thing po na note ko lang po dito is pag may link po na sinubmit, so baka lang po I was checking our email, baka lang po sir walang na-submit na link and that was probably the reason why it was not fact checked. Tapos baka po pwedeng sa next na meeting may meta dito.
Opo.
Mr. Chair, siguro sabi niyo po kasi kanina hindi lahat na-fact check ninyo. So is it a problem of competence or your ability to fact check all things that go to the internet? Kasi kung talagang imposible naman yon, so what is a fact checker for? Kung hindi nyo naman talaga mapafact check lahat. Kagaya ng nangyayari po ngayon. Ano po yung limitations ninyo if there are limitations?
Yung fact checking po tulad po ng sinabi ng aking colleague is that it's an exercise that we started doing because there's posting online. There are people posting online. And siguro ilang million po nung mga Pinoy ang nagpo-post online on a given day. So yung ganong volume po talaga, hindi po talaga kaya yon ng nung isang small organization na tulad namin. But what does Facebook do with yung yung mga sinasubmit namin? Supposedly they're using their algorithms to look for similar content similar to the ones we have already rated. But I cannot speak po, Mr. Chair, for Facebook. Meta needs to speak for itself because hindi po kami yung hindi po kami yung platform. We're only fact-checking what we see and what we can reasonably fact-check.
Mr. Chair, we were informed that Verifyls and Rapplers are the ones employed by Meta to be the fact checkers.
That is true, Mr. Chair.
So
We
you
have an
admitted-
arrangement.
You admitted the obligation for Meta to fact check.
We do not have, Mr. Chair, the obligation to fact check all content on Facebook. That is impossible, and we don't even
Kaya nga
see all
tinatanong ko po
content.
sa inyo, what is your limitation kung meron? Kasi sabi nyo, you are a fact checker.
Mm-mm.
So, kung hindi nyo lahat mapa-fact check, ano po yung limitations para malaman namin?
The limitation is volume, as I mentioned po, Mr. Chair, and that's the reason po why, as my colleague was pointing out,
So
lahat po
we
talaga.
probably fall on the limited area of your fact-checking responsibility. Kagaya nito, 4 lang po yung sinasabi ko, pero hindi pa na fact-check on time. And it needed us to do it all alone by ourselves para lang po maproteksyonan kami.
Mr. Chair, when I just checked my inbox and I was looking for the link to those posts. I don't see links to those posts when I checked my inbox. It's possible na hindi po namin siya nakita. So, if the good senator would send us the links to those posts, we will have a look at them. As we do when we receive emails concerning these things to fact check.
So Mr. Chair, it is the problem of Meta itself. Kasi kami po, nag-email kami sa Meta. And I think Meta simply endorses to you as fact checkers. Kung hindi dumating po sa inyo, talagang may problema po tayo, Mr. Chair. Pinaka-problema talaga ang Meta. We can show you the emails that we have sent to Meta because of this. Kasi importante sa atin na wag ma-mislead ang ating mga kababayan. Napakarami po talaga nilang nilalabas.
Mr. Chair, that's why we post all the fact checks of Rappler. They have a message at the bottom. May message po sa bottom where we tell people where to send us links for fact checking para kung sakaling hindi po namin nakita sa dashboard na binibigay ng Meta, ay may opportunity pa kaming makita beyond that. So yun po yung ginagawa namin.
The fact checkers are limited in the sense that they cannot totally fact check anything that goes into the internet. We are in this situation at present. So magtatagal po bago natin ma-address lahat ang problema na may kinalaman sa fake news. Sa ngayon, wala po tayong magagawa. Is that the state of affairs now?
With respect, Mr. Chair, this is why we are here in the hearing today. Our suggestion, in fact, and one particular action point po kasi na kailangan mangyari. Kasi before po, there used to be more access to data in the platforms. Sa ngayon po, over the past years, that access has been reduced. So we have difficulty seeing like actually searching for content already that is similar to things we see. We have already fact checked. So isa po sa mga sinasuggest nga namin yung transparency, the platforms need to be compelled to share data that will make it possible for third parties, hindi lang po yung mga fact checkers, but also other third parties to audit what is being amplified within these platforms. We don't see everything.
So, Mr. Chair, while we are talking, what happens now with the fourth fake news? Naunahan po si Senate President. Ang sabi po nitong pang-apat na fake news, Yarina Marcoleta na bigla sa mabigat na hatol sa kanya, tanggal na sa Senado. Hindi pa po alam ng Senate President ito eh.
Siguro
What are we going to do with this fourth fake news?
hihingin na po
Harap po kayo
natin.
lahat.
If the senator will
Sandali na
send
po.
the link,
Hihingin na po natin ang statement po ng ating SP para maisulat nyo na po. Totoo po bang wala na sa Senado?
Hindi po, buhay na buhay. Narito, kasama po namin.
Yan po, galing na po sa bibig ng ating Senate President. Sana po sa lahat po ng may social media, sana po mapakalat na po na hindi po totoo yan at isang fake news yan. Opo. Hingin ko lang po sa lahat na total nasagot na po at malinaw na hindi kayang i-take down kaagad. Medyo yaan po ang pagbibigay natin ng tuunan ng pansin ngayon. Ngayon po, hingin na po natin ang bawat position paper. Unahin na po natin, sino po mauna? Sino po ang handa na sa inyong position paper? Handa ka na ba, Ma'am Michiko? Kung handa na po kayo, sige po, makikinig po kami. Okay.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, Senate President Tito Soto. I'm Ms. Chico po. I serve as one of the Board of Trustees of Go Digital Philippines and also the head of social media marketing of the Philippines organization. Concurrently, I also own a strategic communications and digital agency. May I ask Mr. Chair if I can be given a time to present, maybe like 8 minutes, please? Is it okay po?
Opo,
Sige
sige po.
po.
Opo.
First, I would like po to express my appreciation, Mr. Chair Senator Robin Padilla, the chair of this committee, and Senate President Tito Soto. I believe po na taken together, next slide please, these bills work best when viewed together because po they address content, networks, and platforms, which is how this information actually operates in practice. Next slide, please. Sorry. Okay. So, quick lang po, this information in numbers. Platform actions and public exposure. What you're seeing here now in my slide are global numbers. So platforms po like Meta and TikTok reported removing hundreds of millions of fake and inauthentic accounts every year. Data has proven as well na tumataas po siya kapag near elections, no? And this is through automated detection of the platforms worldwide. However, as what Senate President Tito Soto said, yung Philippines po is especially vulnerable, no? In fact, SWS survey shows that majority of the Filipinos frequently encounters fake news and struggle na po to distinguish fact from fiction. Next slide, please. Ay, next slide, please po. Sorry, Corsec. Okay. Para po sa amin, no, hindi lang po public servants na lagi pong victim ng demolition jobs at public figures na laging victim ng false advertisement ang affected dito. In fact, it affects ordinary Filipinos the most because the Philippines is one of the most active and heavy social media users in the world in terms of time spent on platforms. And reason why our information environment is uniquely vulnerable. Again, as what Senate President Tito Soto had mentioned po. Okay, next slide. Sorry, next slide. Okay, next slide po. Gusto ko rin po, next slide please. Sorry for a sec. Filipinos consume news po, entertainment, and political narratives primarily through social media. So yung virality po is driven by emotion, repetition, and sadly po, network amplification. Sa totoo lang, mas mabilis po kasi yung spread ng fake news kaysa sa facts. That's why, sige, next slide. So we believe that this information is not the content problem alone, no? It's really like the clusters of accounts acting together. As I said po, I have a video here if I may be allowed for 1 minute lang po. Okay, this video po is about
Most of us think that information is the best way to convince people of our truth. And in fact, it doesn't work that well. We see that all the time.
If you've spent any time on Earth, you might have noticed that humans are not the most rational of creatures. We make decisions based mostly on emotions instead of facts, and a lot of times we're guided by tribal instinct. Part of the problem is that the human brain evolved to help us survive, and not necessarily to help us be factually accurate. So we often respond better to social and tribal dynamics than to intellectual analysis.
So we gave people information, and as a result, it caused polarization. It didn't cause people to come together.
From a tribal perspective, it makes sense. It's safer to agree with your tribe and stay united ideologically, even if you're wrong about the facts, than to disagree and isolate yourself. Another part of the problem is that our brain is constantly protecting our worldview and sense of identity. So when our worldview is challenged, that same part of the brain that processes physical danger gets activated. This is why people sometimes react so aggressively to information that proves them wrong. And this is why it's often so hard to have an intelligent political debate.
So regardless po of our political leanings, think DDS, independent supporter of this administration, gusto ko po i-discuss na we also have to understand yung human behavior layer of the problem, no? Kasi po lahat naman po nagiging victim, and in fact, again, Senator Marcoleta also mentioned, no, na ang mahirap po kasi lalo na po public figure na laging victim ng demolition job, na yung narratives ang bilis ng spread in minutes. Usually po yung PR team, no, communications team, pag nagpapa-official statement sila, yung public perception has already been shaped, no? So kailangan po mabilis also, and I also I understand as well na mas kasi yung behavior natin, mas gustong-gusto talaga ng human, it's our brain talaga na mas gusto natin yung, I'm not saying fake news, but also like yung mga clickbait content, and also like I feel like mas doon talaga tayo nagdo-drawn to, no? So our recommendation here, sige, next slide please. Simbalisan na lang natin. Okay. Sige, okay na for okay, next slide please. Okay, so what matters po most, no, na sana yung disinformation, since it's not about us taking down lang a certain content, but we have to also understand yung system behind the content or the behavior patterns and coordination, no? This brings us to critical reality, that platforms and governments see different parts of the problem. So one of our recommendations po is to have a platform to government partnership because platforms can detect what government cannot see. For instance, yung coordinated networks, no? Sana lang po mas may better na structure or systems in place when it comes to reporting. Kasi we consume millions of content every day. So for me po, Mr. Chair, it's not the fault of a certain independent fake news, no, to actually just check and monitor everything. Kasi po millions of content yon, no. And also po, government on the other hand has what platforms do not. So yun po yung enforcement power. One of the key recommendations as well is to pattern it after what Singapore is doing. So they do have a better system in place. Meron po silang organized pipeline, may tracking numbers. Meron din po silang strong privacy safeguards to prevent political misuse, no? Kasi lahat naman po tayo may biases, no? And as I said, no, and this information works because it travels through emotion. Yung may fear, may outrage, kaya po kumakalat yung disinformation. As I said, no, regardless po of your political leaning, lagi po lahat biktima nito. So, next slide. Sorry. Kaya po sana meron din po tayong independent network at hindi lang po basta sa fake news na content, pero po sana nagta-target yung sa coordinated and suspicious networks. In fact po, we handle this agency po na maraming hahas tsaka angry. I think po yung mga trolls laging ganon, no? Laging may hahas, may angry at I think ngayon maraming hahas and angry kasi po na weaponize na, no, yung social media platform. Again, regardless po kung saan tayo, no. So I feel that kung meron po tayong maayos or yung team ay meron tayong system na nagre-report ng ginagawa po namin kasi manually, no, nire-report namin sa Meta, let's say 60 to 100, tapos nadidetect nila agad-agad yung network. So it's not about like a certain vlogger or a certain a page, but we have to see it to what it truly is, no, yung root cause ng problema, which is yung coordinated po na behavior. That's it po. Thank you.
Check ko pa naman sana yung sinasabi niyo, Ma'am Michiko, yung patungkol sa Singapore. Kasi kung Singapore ang base natin, baka hindi tanggapin ng mga Pilipino yan. Masyado tayong mahilig sa freedom. Alam mo naman ng Singapore, disiplina muna bago freedom. Sa palagay mo ba matatanggap ng mga Pinoy yan? Yung ganong klase? Kasi ang Singapore, nung pinag-aralan namin, malapit-lapit siya sa Middle East. Yung kanyang restrictions sa social media. Sa palagay mo ba, hindi kaya 1 million bashing na naman ang abutin natin dyan pagka pinairal natin yung Singapore style ng disiplina?
We have po to adapt also to our culture kasi po ang laging tanong, ano ba
Ang
yung
Singapore multicultural.
Apo,
I mean, may,
pero po,
di ba, multicultural sila. Kaya lang talagang iron hand ang Singapore kasi tayo beautiful hand
of course, we're still a democratic country, no? So, para po sa akin, parang it's also yung definition, yung gap po kung saan ba cyberbullying or fake news, saan ba yung parang it's that ground, no?
Sa palagay mo ba
is it-
panahon na para maging ganun tayo kadisiplina sa social media?
we can
Kasi mapakaganda ng patakaran nila doon. Alam mo naman yung disiplina muna bago freedom. Sa tingin mo, sa tingin mo lang, palagay mo ba yun ang kailangan natin sa social media?
I think
Kasi nabanggit mo, ma'am,
mm. I think po siguro more than the discipline kasi po it of course starts in our home and all, but more of we have to be aware. Siguro like what po the PCO just mentioned, no, na may mga certain po na media na information drive, no, para alam din natin. At the same time po sana po mas maayos po yung
okay, so
systems
parang sinasabi
than
natin na hindi
control.
pa handa. Hindi pa masyadong educated yung iba nating mga may account para ipairal yung ganong klaseng disiplina? Parang ganun po ba? Kasi kokonti lang ang tao dun eh. Kokonti lang ang tao sa Singapore eh.
I think po, Mr. Chair po, kaya po I mentioned Singapore kasi po maayos po yung structure and systems
Yes,
pagdating
yes.
po dun
Oo,
sa
sa lahat ng
report and
bagay.
monitoring.
Sa lahat ng bagay,
Yes.
okay. Tumatango kanina si Sir eh. Hindi na mama. Palagay niyo po ba Sir, okay yung disiplina sa Singapore?
Tama po, we agree, Mr. Chair.
Salamat po Sir. Meron po kayong thank you mama. Salamat sa napakaganda mong presentation. Ako din pabor dun sa Singapore, huwag kang mag-alala. Sa PNP po, meron po kayong okay po Sir. Opo.
To the our esteemed chairperson of the Committee on Public Information and Mass Media, our Honorable Robin Hood Padilla, sir. Of course, to the Honorable Senator Rodante Marcolita, sir. First and foremost, on behalf of the Chief PNP, we would like to extend our gratitude for the invitation extended for us to participate in this hearing. The PNP recognizes and acknowledges the Senate's noble intention to make timely legislation addressing the pervasive challenges posed by disinformation, lack of transparency, and manipulation in the digital space. As the primary law enforcement agency, the PNP offers its perspective rooted in our mandate to enforce the law, maintain peace and order, and investigate crimes. We believe that clarity in defining and penalizing malicious digital acts is essential to upholding public trust and national security. We assure this honorable committee of the PNP support to its undertaking and full commitment to collaborate closely in crafting effective and modern laws that serve the Filipino people and reinforce the role of law in this digital age, Mr. Chair. That would be all, Mr. Chair. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat po. Ako po'y masaya at ang PNP ay kakampi natin dito sa kampanya na ito. Sa COMELEC po, napaka-importante po sir dahil nagagamit ang fake news ng mga politiko. Alam niyo po sir, yung wag the dog ba? Minsan kung ano yung issue, naliliko nila. Gumagawa ng mga kalokohan na fake news, nakakalimutan na yung totoong issue doon sa politiko. Ano po sa palagay niyo? Meron po ba kayong position paper?
Meron po, Ginoong Tagapangulo, at kung inyo pong papahintulutan, magbigay lang po kami ng intro at binabalangkas lang po namin ang kabuuan ng position paper at susumitin namin bago po ang kasunod na hearing natin. Pero kami po ay sumasang-ayon sa inyo pong pananaw na talagang nagagamit po ang ating fake news, disinformation, misinformation, lalong-lalo na sa halalan. Nais lang din po namin linawin na bagamat napakataas po ng incidents dito sa Pilipinas, nakita po natin ang peak, ang pag-spike nito pag malapit ng halalan, ngunit ito po ay worldwide trend. Kung titignan nga po natin na una pong na-coin yung salitang fake news sa halalan ay around 2015 sa Estados Unidos po nung halalan po na yan. Kaya po, opo, tama po. Kaya nga po ang COMELEC po, ang sinasaligan lang po natin una sa lahat ay sa ating saligang batas, kung saan po kami ay inatasan na mamahala ng ating mga batas panghalalan, tagapatupad ng mga regulasyon sa halalan, pati po yung ating Omnibus Election Code, yung pong pagpipinalize ng mga bagay na lumalabag sa batas. Pati na rin po yung Fair Elections Act, yung Republic Act 9006. Pero kung titignan nyo po, yung dalawang batas panghalalan na akin nabanggit, Omnibus Election Code po ay 1985 law, Ginoong Tagapangulo. 40 years old na po. Yung pong ating Fair Elections Act, ito po ay 24 years old na rin po ito, Ginoong Tagapangulo. Ganun po katanda na. Wala pa nga po yata na ganito kalawak. Iba pa po ang itsura ng ating World Wide Web nung ito po ay nagawa. Kaya po ang COMELEC, base sa aming mandato, naglabas po kami ng dalawang resolusyon, itong halalan 11064 at 11064-A, kung saan po yung pong sa maliliit na bahagi ng mga batas na yan, ay pinatupad namin po yung ilang bagay tulad po ng pagre-register ng social media accounts pagdating sa pangangampanya. Ang aming pong agreement dyan, kung hindi mo na irehistro itong account mo, ay ipapatake down namin sa ating platforms dahil ang pinoproteksyonan po namin dito higit sa lahat ay ang karapatan ng mga kandidatong gamitin ng platforms sa maayos at matiwasay na pangangampanya. Ikalawa, kami po ay nagkaroon ng collaboration at agreement sa ating platforms kung saan po sila rin po yung nagsimula yung 11 voluntary agreements at kami po ay nagpapasalamat sa kanila dahil nag-work po yung aming cooperation. Dati po talaga inaamin namin kami po ay nagre-request ng takedown linggo, buwan bago po matanggal. Ngunit patungo po sa halalan, pinakamabilis na po yung 4 hours to 24 hours na sunod na po natin yon. Kaya nga po kami buong pusong sumasang-ayon sa mga bills po na nandito sa ating kagalang-galang na Senado dahil sa tingin po namin bagamat nag-work yung ating cooperation, mas maganda po na maisabatas lahat ito. Naniniwala at nagtitiwala rin po kami sa kagalang-galang na komite sa Senado na mababalanse po lahat. Alam po namin na nag-worry po ang ating mga kababayan tungkol dun sa pagiging overbreadth, vagueness, o yung paglaban sa ating constitutional freedom on expression and speech. Pero kami nga po ay naniniwala na mababalanse po ito lahat at mag-work po ito para sa kapakanan ng ating bansa. At bilang panghuli po, Ginoong Tagapangulo, kami po ay nagpapasalamat sa ating Senado at sa inyo po sa pagkilala sa election data bilang kabahagi ng critical information infrastructure. Alam ko po sa ating malawak na pananaw, laging ang kasama dyan yung national security, yung health, yung power. Ngunit kung titignan nyo po kasi ang basihan ng legitimacy ng government po natin ay halalan. Kaya po siguro po napapanahon na sa pag-update po ng mga batas panghalalan at sa tulong na rin po ng 3 Senate bills, yung anti-troll farm, anti-false information, pati na rin po yung social media fairness, malaking bahagi po ito at malaking kontribusyon at ikaayos ng halalan. Yun lang po, hiling po namin, sana po maging bahagi lagi ang halalan sa mga panukalang batas. Maraming salamat po.
Napakaganda po ng inyong pahayag, Director John Rex Laudianco. Napakaganda po. Tunay po yan. Tunay ko pong sinusuportahan. At asahan po ninyo yung mga nabanggit nyo pong mga batas, kaagad po natin yan na maamendahan o baguhin. Opo. Marami pong salamat. Opo. Director Duke A. Villanueva ng Department of Foreign Affairs. Sir?
Good morning, Mr. Chair. I am joined by Director Jackie Arquiza from the Department of Foreign Affairs, Office of Public Diplomacy, and we're very happy that you invited us today, sir, to express our views. We have a position paper ready, which will be sent to your office in due course. It is just going some final steps, but I will read an executive summary, sir, of this position paper. So the Department of Foreign Affairs welcomes legislative efforts in strengthening transparency and measures to counteract misinformation and disinformation. Kagaya ng sinabi ng mga iba, the Filipinos are one of the most active social media users in the world, which makes the Philippines vulnerable to disinformation, propaganda, and yung tinatawag pa natin na FIMI, F-I-M-I, or Foreign Information Manipulation and Interference, or Foreign Interference and Malign Influence operations. Misinformation, disinformation, and online manipulation not only erode public confidence and trust in media and government institutions, but also present real challenges to national security. With regard to international partnerships, the DFA is of the opinion that a whole of government approach would be more effective in engaging international actors to strengthen transparency and implement initiatives countering misinformation. The DFA believes that the national government agencies should be encouraged rather than compelled to evaluate and when appropriate, enter into partnerships that strengthen the country's framework to combat misinformation and improve transparency in the digital landscape. That was the executive summary of our position paper, sir. The details will be contained in the full position paper, which will follow very shortly, sir.
Maraming salamat po, Director Duke Villanueva. Isa lang ang ano. Okay, maraming salamat po. Dito naman po sa National NTC. Ayun, nako. Kay Attorney Kathleen Hailo Ehipto. Ma'am?
Sir, Mr. Chair, maraming salamat po sa pag-imbita sa National Telecommunications Commission ngayong araw na ito. Allow me to read a brief manifestation of support by the National Telecommunications Commission po. The National Telecommunications Commission fully supports the proposed bill numbers SB number 191, 1490, and 1441. The NTC stands ready to support the implementation of these measures once passed and stands ready to cooperate in the technical working groups to come in coordination with the relevant government agencies to help ensure a safer, more transparent and trustworthy digital ecosystem for the Filipino people, sir. Lubos pong sinusuportahan ng NTC ang mga panukalang ito at handa ang NTC na suportahan ang pagpapatupad ng mga panukalang ito, sir. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat po, Attorney Kathleen Haylo. Salamat po. Sa atin pong DOJ, ma'am, kawawa naman si ma'am kanina. Attorney Kersien Bautista.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much for allowing us to submit to inviting us in this hearing. Allow me to read our statement, or a summary of our statement, and then we will submit our position paper in full to your office. The Department of Justice Office of Cybercrime commends the Senate for its unwavering commitment in crafting legislation aimed at a safer and more responsible digital environment. These measures are necessary to address the issue of harmful practices that undermine public trust and distort democratic processes. We understand that the aim is to promote truth, transparency, and accountability in the digital public sphere, and in this regard, our office respectfully submits as follows. First and foremost, it is vital that the definition of false content and fake news is clearly outlined to prevent an interpretation that would encompass expression that is simply controversial, dissenting, or critical of government, and that the law may avoid becoming a tool for silencing legitimate criticism or public debate. This would protect both the people from deliberate disinformation and to also guard against the misuse of laws as a weapon to suppress political expression, critical thought, satire, honest error, or journalistic inquiry. Freedom of speech is a pillar of democratic society, a freedom which must be balanced against the need to preserve the integrity of public discourse. Second, transparency in social media is an important initiative for fairness and accountability. Algorithms may have been designed for purpose of user engagement, but then also these contribute to misinformation. We just need to consider that provisions of the law do not result in undue censorship, as social media is a space where political and social opinions can be freely expressed. Lastly, we fully support a law that would address the unethical and dangerous practice of coordinating a network to intentionally mislead for profit or political gain, and especially if such are supported using public funds. At the same time, it is important that the law does not unintentionally target individuals or groups engaging in legitimate political organizing or online advocacy, as we envision such law to protect democratic institutions rather than undermining democratic processes. We fully support these measures and commit to assisting so that the provisions effectively achieve their objectives while remaining consistent with the guarantees of our Constitution. Thank you very much.
Maraming salamat po, Attorney Bautista. Umasa po kayo na itong mga panukala na ito ay maisusulong po sapagkat ito po ay sinusuportahan ng ating Senate President. At alam ko po, siguro majority po ng mga senador ay naniniwala po talaga na kailangan na natin itong mga batas na to. At rest assured, ma'am, na yung freedom of speech at expression hindi naman natin sasaklawan yon. Ang gusto lang natin dito ay yung makatotohanan po ba. Opo. Wala tayong reklamo doon sa mga sasalita, yan. Wag lang yung gumagawa ng gulo. Opo. Salamat po, ma'am. Sa ating pong DICT, Director Alvin Navarro. Sir.
Sa ngalan po ng DICT at ng Cybercrime Investigation and Coordinating Center, magandang umaga po. Maraming salamat po sa imbitasyon. Gaya po ng mga naunang ahensya, ganap po ang aming pagsuporta sa mga panukalang batas na ito. Yun pong anti-false content and fake news, ito po yung magbibigay daan para magkaroon tayo ng consensus. Ano ba ang gusto nating pigilan at labanan na nakapagdudulot ng pagkakawatak-watak po ng bansa? Yun pong Social Media Fairness and Algorithmic Transparency Act, kumbinsido po kami na ito po ay magbibigay daan para din naman maitatag yung accountability ng social media platforms. Hindi lang technology.
Patuloy lang po.
Opo, hindi lang po teknolohiya ang dapat mag-shape nung discourse patungkol sa information. Kailangan po yung partisipasyon ng apektadong bansa katulad natin dahil kailangang pag-usapan po na ano ba dapat yung mga parametro o sukatan para ang isang content po ay maituring na false. Hindi dapat na yung growth of engagement lang ng social media platforms ang tututukan. Kailangang balansehin po yung kanilang commercial interest at yun namang interest ng sambayanan. Yun pong patungkol sa anti-troll farm, ito po ay napakahalaga sapagkat naabuso po ng husto yung social media platform na sa halip po na mapagbuklod-buklod ang komunidad na pagwawatak-watak po. Yun pong binubuo po namin ngayon, binubuo po ng DICT at CICC yung aming position paper at ito po ay ipapadala namin po sa committee ito. Maraming salamat po.
Napakaganda po ng inyong minungkahi, Director Alvin Navarro. Maraming salamat po at kasama po namin kayo. Dito naman po sa aking mga kaibigan, Yusek Ramon A. Ilagan. Opo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. But before reading our position paper, siguro po may utang po kami kito a good gentleman, Senator Marcoleta. But with regard to his question, yun pong 16 million pesos na earmark by PCO under its 2026 budget to combat the fake news. So, Senator, hindi lang po yung 16 million para to combat the fake news, but it is the whole budget of the DMS, the Digital State Media Services ng PCO. So, and that 16 million also covers the fact-checking, the digital content creation, and the public education campaigns. Kasama po dito 16 million yung workshops and training programs for education and state media personnel nationwide. So, sorry for the delay, but I got it from the Director of Finance, the breakdown of the 16M, which is the Media and Information Literacy Training, the Media and Information Literacy Summit, the National Schools Press Conference concurrent session in the Media Monitoring Tool, Mr. Chairman. So that's the breakdown of the 16M for 2026 budget of the PCO.
Salamat sa impormasyon na binigay sa atin ni Yusek Monilagan, Mr. Chair. Pero sabi ko nga, magtatagal pa yan. In the meantime, tayo po ay binabaka natin yung lumalaganap ng mga fake news araw-araw. Sana naman ay maging madali para sa inyo na makagawa ng kaparaanan kasama ng mga ilang inimbitang mga opisina. Para sa ganun ay hindi masyadong magtagal. Pero ang sinasabi ni Missy ko kanina, palagay ko dapat natin ding pagtuunan ng pansin dahil kung ang Singapore nagawa niya yon, kamukha sa Singapore 2019 pa nagawa na nila yung POCMA. Ito yung Protection from Online Falsehood and Manipulation Act. Pagkatapos noon ay nakagawa pa siya ng Anti-Fake News Law in 2018. Kung nagawa ng Singapore, baka naman yung best practices nila ay hindi man lahat na yung makuha natin. Halimbawa, 10 yung mga mekanismong nakalatag doon sa mga batas na kanilang ginawa. Yung unang 3 ay makuha man lang natin. Huwag na tayong masyadong magpakabida na makukopya natin kagad. Bagamat ang Pilipino ay mahilig mangopya. Pero naging realistic tayo. Kung nagawa ng Singapore, ba't hindi natin pwedeng gawin? Pare-pareho naman siguro yung level ng technology sa ngayon. Baka ang ating po kasing pinoproblema yung paglaganap at yung pagbaka sa kanila ay parang wala tayong, parang helpless po tayo eh. Ang bilis po nilang mag-upload ng mga fake news. Katulad po na binabanggit ko kanina yung Butesa, ano po? Talagang pinagtiyagaan po namin na kami na yung humanap do sa tao. At nung makita namin, sinabi namin sa kanya na hindi ka rin makakaalpas. Yung mahabang kamay ng batas, hahabulin ka rin namin. At dahil doon, tinanggal niya po. Alam po ninyo, pag nakikita nyo, pag tinignan po niya yung account niya, mapapansin nyo, troll po ang ginamit niya kasi puro Vietnamese at mga Arabo po yung yung nandoon eh. Nag-share po lahat, puro Arabic at saka Vietnamese. Sana, kukunti po yung Pilipino eh. Kaya po yung mga fact checker natin kung madali, ang dali naman po checkin yun eh. Hindi ko naman po sinasabing lahat po checkin ninyo, pero kung kayo po ay tumanggap naman ng responsibilidad na maging fact checker kayo, hindi naman po namin hinahangad na lahat po ay ma-fact check ninyo. Ngunit kahit na po siguro yung mga unang communicate sa inyo sa magitan ng email, sana po unahin din ninyo sapagkat kaya naman kami nakikipag-coordinate. Gusto po naming makatulong din sa ikasusog po ng lumalaganap na fake news na nakakapag-mislead po sa ating mga kababayan. Importante po na hindi ma-mislead ang ating mga kababayan kahit sa anong paraan, Mr. Chair.
Salamat po, Senator Marcoleta. Okay na po ang inyong position paper? Pwede na po kayong magsabi?
Yes, Your
Ang
Honor.
inyong
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you very much, Senator Marcoleta, for that suggestion po. We'll take that into consideration. Maraming salamat po. Now, just to give the position paper of the PCO, so allow me to read in behalf of my acting secretary, Dave Gomez. Mr. Chair, Senator Robin Padilla, distinguished members of the Senate Committee on Public Information and Mass Media, fellow resource persons, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. On behalf of the Presidential Communications Office, I thank the committee for inviting us to this public hearing on Senate Bills 191, 1441, and 1490. These measures seek to confront the growing menace of fake news and disinformation in our country. All of us witness this information every single day. We have seen how fabricated stories, deep fakes, and fake news can distort public discourse, incite violence, damage reputations, and even hamper government response during calamities and public health emergencies. The damage to institutions and to people's lives is real and escalating. The PCO welcomes the intent behind these bills to protect the Filipino people from deliberate deception while preserving the constitutional guarantee of freedom of expression and of the press. The PCO supports a whole-of-nation approach that combines clear legislation, responsible platform governance, digital literacy, and independent and responsible journalism. The PCO stands ready to work with this committee and all stakeholders to refine these proposals into laws that are effective, proportionate, and fully compliant with our Constitution. We have earlier submitted the PCO's position paper on these bills for the committee's consideration. With the Chair's permission, I would like to highlight and put on record some key points in the PCO's position paper. First, the PCO supports a balanced and holistic approach in addressing fake news, disinformation, and misinformation. The freedom of speech is paramount, but it is neither absolute nor a license that gives immunity to those abuse or misuse it. Legislation must balance penalizing malicious and deliberate dissemination of fake news with legitimate speech, journalistic commentary, satire, dissent, or error made in good faith. As such, it must clearly and narrowly define fake news and disinformation and establish clear evidentiary thresholds. And as the Supreme Court has time and again emphasized, it must not constitute prior restraint. Legislation must also balance punitive measures with constructive measure. While penalties are vital and necessary in curbing abuse and misuse of freedom of expression, public education, media information literacy, transparency, and platform responsibility should form part of a comprehensive long-term solutions. The creation of a Digital Media Integrity Council is also proposed with representation from government and private sector can serve not only as a strong literacy arm, but a fact-checking organization. The PCO fully supports Senate Bill 1490 as it strengthens the public trust and promotes ethical digital governance. To address concerns raised by watchdogs, the Senate may consider prohibiting the creation or funding of troll operations and establishing accountability mechanisms for misuse. The law must also clearly distinguish illicit troll operations from legitimate digital engagement by government agencies. This will ensure that government communication is factual and transparent. In conclusion, Mr. Chair, the fight against fake news and disinformation is essential to building a resilient and united Philippines. The PCO stands ready to collaborate with Congress, stakeholders, and these measures. The Philippines can lead in the region as a model for responsible digital governance where truth prevails over deception and citizens' rights to free speech and information are ensured and safeguarded. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Maraming salamat po. Na-miss kita tuloy sa news. Sir, may
Thank you,
tanong lang
Mr.
po ako. Doon po sa council na sinasabi ninyo, meron na po kayong idea kung sino yung bubuo?
Yes, of course, dun sa proposal, Mr. Chair, so we have critical government agencies plus the private sector. The private sector, it also includes the Kapisanan ng Broadcasters ng Pilipinas, the KBP, the Philippine Press Institute, the PRSP or Public Relations Society of the Philippines, the NPC, the National Press Club, etc. So with government funding plus private sector donations para ho talagang masasabi po natin whole of society approach po with this.
Ito po ay commission na ito ay under PICO? Under saan niyo po gusto to?
Pwede pong under na rin sa PCO, but of course with collaboration ng private sector groups. So the main purpose of this is number one, to conduct the literacy campaigns, digital literacy campaigns, Your Honor. And secondly, the fact-checking to combat fake news. Third is develop AI for social media fact-checking and develop alert mechanism when fake news is detected. So those are the possible functions that we have thought about this creation of the Digital Media Integrity Council. Your Honor.
Mr. Chair.
Sige po, Senator Marcoleta.
Mr. Chair, kailan po kaya magkakaroon ng katuparan ito, Yusek Ilagan? Kasi tingnan po ninyo, 55% ng ating mamamayan po ay naniniwala that the problem of fake news on the internet and social media such as Facebook, sa Twitter at saka YouTube was serious. 55% po yan. 62% thought that fake news in traditional media, television, radio, and newspapers was serious. 65% find it difficult to determine if news or piece of information they had watched, heard or read on TV, radio, and social media was fake or wrong. 55% claimed that they frequently saw or encountered fake news in both traditional and social media. So, Mr. Chair, how can we really protect 65% of our kababayans from being purveyors of fake news? 65% po ito. Hindi po niya kaagad makilala o malaman kung peke o hindi. Ito po yung sinasabi natin na nami-mislead po talaga. Hindi lang po sana mo kung 10% lang o 5%. Hindi po natin sinasabi na kung 5% medyo safe na tayo. Pero ito po 65% po eh. Hindi niya ma-distinguish kaagad. Talagang magagaling din po talaga yung nagpapakalat ng fake news. Kaya ang tanong po palagi, kailan po kaya magkakaroon ng katuparan? Dahil kahit ngayon pong nag-uusap tayo, kumakalat pa rin po ang fake news, Mr. Chair.
Napakagandang mungkahi po. Meron lang po akong suggestion kasi kung aantayin po natin yung batas, matagal pa po ito. Hindi po kaya pwede i-request sa ating Pangulo na gumawa na lang siya ng executive order para dyan sa council na yan?
That's a good suggestion, Mr. Chair. So, ang ating po naman talagang Pangulo is really very serious. Ano? In fact, gusto niya mga mechanisms po talaga na magawa para labanan ng fake news. And also, I believe,
Teka muna,
with-
Yusek, bago mo sagutin niya sa pangalan ng Pangulo, baka mapagalitan ka niya, no? Meron po kasi tayong mga legal framework ngayon. Ang tanong po siguro ganito, no? At present kasi, Mr. Chair, paano natin ini-implement yung existing mechanism natin on fake news? Meron po tayong Republic Act 10951. In particular, Article 154 of the unlawful use of means of publication and unlawful utterances. Yung Article 355 o libel by means of writings or similar means. Yung Republic Act 10175 or Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012. Meron po section dyan na sinasabi on cyber libel and computer identity theft. At meron po tayong Republic Act 10173. Ito po yung Data Privacy Act of 2012. Lahat po ng ito nagpe-penalize ng unauthorized processing or disclosure of personal data. In 2020, meron pa tayong 11469 or Bayanihan to Heal as one act, included a provision penalizing creation and spreading of fake news about COVID-19. Ang tanong po kasi, Mr. Chair, paano tayo mag-guide? Ano po ba yung missing? Ano pa yung wala dito sa binanggit nating mga existing na batas, mekanismo at regulation para ngayon ay maging effective na ma-address po natin ang paglaganap ng fake news. Dapat yung missing link makuha na po natin. Meron na po tayo eh. Kaya lang, nandyan pa rin po eh. Sa ngayon, hindi po natin mapagbabatayan ng Meta sapagkat kahit may jurisdiction tayo, sabi ng DOJ, parang tali ang kamay natin. So kailangan natin siguro pagsikapan sa magitan ng batas nating nandito ngayon. Hanapin na lang natin, ano ba yung kakulangan pa nitong existidong batas na ito na pagsama-samahan po nating hanapin, i-connect natin. At kung kinakailangan ng executive order na gusto mong request sa ating Pangulo, bago yon sana, tingnan muna natin ano yung missing link dito, Mr. Chair.
Tama po, Senator Marcoleta. Napakagandang mungkahi po niyan. At yan din po yung pinagtalunan namin ni Miss Michiko na ano nga ba yung missing link. Ang amin pong napag-usapan talaga, dapat talaga isang tao, isang account, personal, tapos yung isa, business account niya para hindi po siya nakakagawa ng maraming milagro. Opo. Okay na po, Senator. Attorney Annalyn Taggiling ng National. Ako, ma'am, ikaw pala yun, ha? Yung NPC. Ikaw ang merong, pwede po bang bago kayo, buti na lang, naging babae kasi bala kong awayin talaga to. Opo, ano po ba ang mandato? Yan na lang para mabait ako. Ano po ba ang mandato ng NPC? Bakit parang kulang po yata ang ng ipin ang NPC, ma'am? Kayo po ba'y taga Baguio? O kailian ko pa ito.
Yes,
Sige
Mr.
po,
Chair.
mag-opposition paper na lang po.
Please allow me to read the executive summary of our position paper. To the Honorable Committee, the National Privacy Commission recognizes the urgent need to address the massive and harmful effects of false and deceptive news or content online. Thus, the need to enact or amend existing laws to specifically respond to the dangers posed by the irresponsible and unlawful use of the internet. The NPC consistently affirms that privacy, freedom of expression, and public order are not mutually exclusive and are all constitutionally protected interests. Measures that promote social media fairness and algorithmic transparency regulate automated decision-making that could harm people's freedom to choose, result in unfair treatment, or render consent meaningless. The NPC recognizes the intent of these proposed measures,
which is mainly to protect the public from misleading and harmful online content, while remaining fully cognizant of constitutionally protected freedoms. The proposed mechanisms, such as rectification, takedown, and access blocking orders, underscore the importance of prompt and proportionate response to digital harm, provided that these measures will be implemented with due process, clear procedures and standards, and full respect for privacy rights. The NPC emphasizes that the Data Privacy Act remains applicable in the implementation of this proposed act, especially if it involves personal data of individuals. As such, interagency coordination will be essential to ensure that enforcement actions address harmful content without resulting in unnecessary or excessive intrusion into personal data of individuals. The NPC further notes that the Data Privacy Act prescribes corresponding criminal penalties on top of other crimes under existing laws for any unauthorized processing of personal data of individuals. The the DPA, Data Privacy Act, regulates the processing of personal data of individuals. However, it does not generally regulate opinion or speech that have no personal data component. But much fake news or false content online involves use of people's name, images, contact details, health, or other personal data. Thus, the need to comply with the requirements under the Data Privacy Act in processing or handling this personal data. The NPC views these bills as complementary to the Data Privacy Act. The proposed bills strengthen the protection of personal data while reinforcing public trust in digital platforms and in government institutions. In light of these considerations, the National Privacy Commission expresses its full support for the passage of the proposed act as a timely and necessary legislative response to the evolving risk of harmful digital content. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and we will submit our position paper to the Honorable Committee.
Maraming salamat po. Meron lang pong idadagdag si
Meron lang akong itatanong, Mr. Chair. Yun pong sa algorithmic preference, sabi kanina ng Director Navarro, kailangan siguro yung parameters eh. Sa ngayon kasi hindi natin alam, pagkakaalam ko yung user palagi niyang binuview isang bagay na ito, yung algorithm palagi siyang doon umiikot, di ba? So, paano mo makukontrol talaga yung algorithm kung yung user naman ang nagdi-determine kung ano-ano yung gusto niyang panoorin? Halimbawa, merong isa dyan na palaging gusto niyang pinapanood, yung mukbang, yung kumakain ng kung ano-ano, damo at saka mga hilaw na vegetables. So yung algorithm, puro, pag binuksan niya yung cellphone niya gano'n, puro kumakain ng hilaw na mangga at saka kung ano, nandun. Paano natin papalitan yung mga parameters? Halimbawa, sabi ni Director Navarro, kung ayaw nating umikot doon sa algorithm, palitan natin ang parameters. Halimbawa, when we talk about fake news, pag nakita nating fake news yun, di ba natin dapat tanggalin yung mga parameters na related doon para sa ganun, makabawas-bawas man lang tayo sa paglaganap ng fake news. Paano bang gagawin natin? Kasi tama naman po yung sinasabi ninyo, hindi natin mabalanse ngayon. Paano natin gagawin ng government control, balancing it with free speech? Yun, trabaho ni Yusek Ilagan yun. Nasa government siya, gusto niyang balansein, pero meron namang gusto na ilitaw yung sarili niyang opinion. And kung gagamit po ng algorithm, ito po yung problema ko eh. Can we really control yung algorithm? Kasi kung makokontrol po na yan, ako rin gusto ko pong makontrol ang algorithm. Kasi po yung isang example na gumagamit ng algorithm kung bakit tumataas ang kuryente natin, yung WESM, yung Wholesale Electricity Spot Market. Kung minsan po hindi nila may paliwanag, umaabot sa 17 pesos per kilowatt hour. Hindi po yun ang motibo ng batas eh. Ang motibo ng batas, yung EPIRA, kaya naglagay po tayo ng spot market is to rationalize demand at saka yung production. Pero ang nangyayari po ngayon, pagka tinawagan mo ang Energy Regulatory Commission, eh wala po, yan po yung algorithm, sabi niya. They do not even know how, they cannot even answer, sino bang nag-audit ng algorithm na yun? And maybe I would ask you, Madam, ino-audit po ba yung algorithm? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Ma'am Tagiling.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In terms of algorithm in social media platforms, the requirement under the Data Privacy Act is that for these controllers of data to comply with the requirements such as to process only the information that is necessary for the purpose and to be transparent to the users or to the data subjects.
So sa madaling salita po, hindi po siya makokontrol.
Under the Data Privacy Act, yes po, wala pong ganong provision.
Sa ngayon, ano lang siya, freewheeling lang siya kung ano lang ang